Hello and welcome to the Curtis Podcast Network. I'm your host, Curtis Brown. And with me today is Blake Bellamy. Cullen could not be here tonight, but yes, we are here for the 22nd episode of this sports show. Big shout out to Arcade Dreamer for the instrumental version of Dangerous from his debut album, Born in the Midnight. Available anywhere music can be listened to. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, etc. You can follow him on Facebook and Instagram at Arcade Dreamer Official. You can also follow him on Twitter at Arcade_Dreamer. And then on YouTube and Bandcamp at Arcade Dreamer. You can follow the Curtis Podcast Network on Facebook at Curtis Podcast Network and on Twitter at Curtis Network. So like I mentioned, we're in here with Blake, and Blake and I went to high school together. Good guy. Happy to have him in the studs. Blake, what's up, man?
Man, I'm just excited to be here. I've been a huge fan of your podcast. I'm always trying to listen to it anytime I'm trying to do something productive. You know, if you're trying to work out, if you're trying to make a delicious meal, if you're trying to get excited about going to work or something, if you're like, okay, I need to conquer the day today. What am I going to do in order to be productive today? I'm going to listen to Curtis's Podcast Network. Because what else are you going to... let me ask you, what else are you going to listen to? Curtis.
I don't listen to it, but
I feel like if you listen to your podcast more often, the podcast would even be better.
That's true. I mean, I listen to, I guess, when I record, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your sports.
Well, I'm a huge Titans fan. I came here into a house that has Houston Texans decor all over the place. And I hate Houston. I don't like what you're wearing. You're wearing a sweater that has the Houston Texans logo. And I came here wearing a Kevin Byard Tennessee Titans jersey. He went to MTSU, as did I. Not at the same time, unfortunately. I was a year late. Tragic.
Hey, that's all right.
It's how it is sometimes. It doesn't even matter because he's an all-pro.
That's facts.
However, the Titans' defense was straight booty this year, and it's unfortunate.
Yes.
But we won the AFC South Championship, and I am proud of that.
As you should be.
And you guys are second.
Third.
Because
the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts.
They exist.
Unfortunately.
And now they have Carson Wentz.
I hate the Colts.
I'm not a fan, ever. I liked Peyton more than I liked the Colts ever.
I liked Peyton right when they released him. I was like, okay, I can get behind him now.
Now that he's not a Colt.
Yeah. I'd prefer if he went to the NFC or the Tennessee Titans because that was an option. He just did not want to play the Colts twice a year.
Nope.
Like, that's unfortunate.
Of course not. Of course not.
You could have won a Super Bowl or two here. I would have loved it.
Yeah.
I would have been a huge fan of that.
Of course you would have. And you would have probably had a jersey or two.
Oh,
sure. I probably would have bought one just because. I mean, because you're not going to not get a Peyton Manning.
I mean, how do you feel about the Titans in general? Like, do you kind of want them to win? Like, if they were in the Super Bowl,
no,
you would want them to lose against any the Titans Cowboys.
Okay, Titans Cowboys. I'm going for the Titans because the Cowboys.
Titans Packers.
The Titans have to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
At any given time. Titans Packers. I'm probably going for the Pack.
That's Aaron Rodgers or who's our backup now? The guy they just drafted.
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Oh.
I feel bad for that guy.
I feel bad for all of Green Bay right now.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers has just been silent. He's just been like, I don't know where I stand with the Packers, and then radio silent.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson out here tweeting up a storm. Getting everybody all up to do a frenzy. Tizzy.
For sure.
And then you got Panda, the big Panda, the Panda King.
Oh God.
Panda.
He's a migraine.
Yes.
He goes by Gigi Bowser now, according to his Instagram. He is the Titans' first-round draft pick, who may go down as one of the biggest draft busts of all time.
Isaiah Wilson,
29th overall pick, 2020. The Titans management, coaches, staff, they looked at this guy, He was like, you know what? He could be a star of our franchise. He's had more DUIs than starts. He's had more suspensions than plays. He's had more pancakes. He's had no pancakes.
Big panda ain't eating.
He's not eating. He's vegetarian. He's trash. There's pictures of him and videos of him making it rain on New Year's Eve. He's trash.
Yeah.
Utter garbage.
What were you saying earlier about when LaJuan was asked about him on the...
Yeah, Taylor Lewan on Bustin' with the Boys, him and Will Compton's podcast, they were talking about how someone's asking him about Isaiah Wilson, and he says he's not going to comment on the right tackles or the first-round picks status until something happens. So it sounds like something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's the offseason. Apparently they've been fielding picks for him, or fielding offers for him, and it's looking like late-round draft pick.
Yeah.
But it's better than nothing, because they're gonna have to release him, and they're gonna have to eat it's like $11 million in cap over the next 3 years.
Yeah, it's
total.
pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like at that point, might as well keep him as punishment. Just make him unhappy. He's never gonna play.
Yeah, just make him basically like the third string punter.
Yeah,
practice squad.
He might as well be. He can't do anything.
What if he's like god tier at punting?
He's nothing, dude. Brett Kern is the best Tennessee Titan. My roommate has a Brett Kern jersey.
As well as someone should. Fuck.
Dude, Brett Kern is one of our favorite players in history.
He's pretty good.
Like, he's up there. There's a reason, like, the opposite of Steve McNair's number is Brett Kern's. He's the reincarnation of Steve McNair. That's my hot take of our podcast. Of our episode.
Brett Kern is the reincarnation
of Steve Air McNair.
Steve Air McNair. All right.
That's it.
There's no ghost busting needed. Not one. All right. Woo. Oh, God. So what do you? Okay, so you said late round draft picks. We talking like?
I honestly, I would be happy with if we got a 6th round pick. I'm expecting a 6th.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy if we got anything better than that.
I mean, at this point, I feel like a 6th is like. I mean, you would imagine that if you're trading a first round draft pick, that this kid's got some talent to him, but. I don't even know if like there might be like a conditional 7.
Yeah, he couldn't even pass a conditioning test.
Yeah,
in August, and it was summer.
Yeah, I know. I get you. I get you, man.
I don't understand.
I will, in defense of the Titans, which you'll rarely hear from me, as you probably know. I can't imagine the draft process had gone exactly like they had hoped for.
No,
and I'm not even talking about draft night. Like the interview processes, they were basically allowed to Skype people.
I wonder what their conversation was. I wouldn't be shocked if Isaiah Wilson was drinking a 40 or some Hennessy during a Zoom call with Mike Vrabel and Jonathan Robinson. It would not surprise me at all.
What are you doing over there? Oh, I'm thirsty.
I'm just we're out of water. They shut off our water. We didn't have enough money. That's why we tried to get drafted. Like that's probably what Isaiah was trying to say.
They're like, he comes from humble beginnings.
He's just trying to make some money. No, and he did. He made a lot of money, and I feel like he's giving it all away, or he's investing it in his rap career.
Yeah. Oh God, what a story this guy could. This could, like, you kind of allude or touch on it briefly there. This could actually go down as one of the worst draft picks ever.
Because he did nothing. He got in so much trouble. He did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing.
I mean,
didn't do anything. He didn't have one good game. He didn't have a good play. He's never had a good play.
Yeah. I mean, two of the 4 snaps were a kneel down.
Yeah.
And then
he got destroyed on a PAT.
Yeah. Just absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, almost could have caused a block if it was a better defender.
And oh God, and this was supposed to be like, oh, they drafted him, and it was like, oh, Right tackle solved.
I don't understand why they drafted him because we just re-signed our. So we let Jack Conklin go. He was our first-round pick in 2016.
Right.
8th overall pick, I believe, something like that, top 10. And they let him go after 5 years, and we re-signed Dennis Kelly to a 3-year deal. And so we just re-signed him. He's going to be our starter. And they drafted a first-round pick right tackle. It's like, why in the hell would you just invest a first-round pick when you just solidified your right tackle spot for the next 3 years?
Okay.
It makes no sense.
I think they view Dennis Kelly as like a transitional starter rather
3-year
than...
deal, though?
3-year deal, I mean, it's hard to find good offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's hard to find good ones. It's even harder to find great ones and beyond that.
Correct.
So Lawan is probably the best offensive lineman on that team right now.
Yeah, for sure.
In my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then you've got, is they re-signing Jones?
We'll see.
And then who's the left guard now?
Roger Saffold.
Okay.
Which he has one more year after this one.
Yeah. So like.
So he's good. He struggled last year.
He's not bad.
Yeah.
He definitely
his first year with Tennessee, he was a little rocky.
Yeah. And he was a little rocky to start the season, I feel like. And then he kind of mellowed out and then had like a rough patch and then solidified kind of that last little push.
Yeah, it was a good offensive lineman unit in general. It was the only time a 2,000-yard rusher had a running back had 2,000-yard season without a Pro Bowl offensive lineman.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
All Derrick Henry.
It's 100% Derrick Henry. And the system, I think.
Yeah.
Now, one of my things with the Titans now is, they've been hiring from within as far as offense goes.
Correct.
And is that not what they did again?
They did. They signed Todd Downey. They promoted him from tight ends coach to offensive coordinator. And that's interesting because last time they promoted Arthur Smith from tight end coach to offensive coordinator whenever Matt LaFleur got promoted to the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. And then, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator briefly when they were the Oakland Raiders, and it did not go so well, and he was fired. And then he became our tight ends coach, and he's done very well as the Titans have had. Johnny Smith have had a lot of success, so has Michael Pruitt, and Anthony Fursker, and Jeffrey Swaim, who was pretty much signed off the street. He pretty much had jobs like we did, and they made him productive in that system. So hopefully that will continue to happen as he's the offensive coordinator in Tennessee. But I feel like there's a lot of success to be had when you have Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown.
Yeah. That's at least a potential for a solid outing every
For sure.
game. I mean, Derrick Henry is an unstoppable force of nature.
Yeah, it's hard. He's even posting. He posted yesterday, actually, him just going crazy in the gym. Like he's like the 2021 season has already started. Like
yeah,
he's unstoppable, and I feel like he's going to be the Tom Brady of running backs.
I mean, he might be.
He just won't stop.
Yeah.
His high school carries and touches were insane. So were his college touches, and they keep giving him the ball.
Yeah.
And he's killing it.
He is, though. I mean, God. As a Texans fan, I just hated this whole season because every single time the Titans played the Texans, it was a close game. But no matter what, Derrick Henry was like, oh, I'm going to get too high now. It's fine.
You guys are the new Jaguars for Derrick Henry.
I mean, I guess. Everybody's got to be a role, I guess. Everybody's got a role. That's us. I mean, oh, God. And it would be different if, like, this was, like, 2018.
Yeah.
Because then I could be like, the Titans suck. Talk shit to you or something. But I can't. Because the entire Texans organization is flawed all the way from ownership down to the floor. So,
yeah, dude, the Texans organization is pretty much ran like the way a Jaguars fan thinks. Like, it's just disorganized. Yeah, I don't know how to speak
Disorganisms.
Yeah, I just learned English 2 days ago, so I'm struggling a little bit.
It's all right. Crash course.
Exactly. No, dude, they're terrible. Bill O'Brien is the greatest thing that has happened to the AFC South in a long time.
Let's put it this
way. He completely destroyed the Texans organization.
He didn't want to be the GM, though.
He was, and he was a terrible GM.
He didn't want the job. They forced it on him.
Yeah.
He, on record, several times when they approached him with it, after they had let go of, after Robert Smith, I think it was his name, Rob Smith. Mm-hmm. He went to go take care of his wife who was ill with cancer. And they let him take over, or they asked him 6 different times to be the GM. He's like, I don't want to do it. Find me somebody. He made a list of people.
Yeah.
And instead they were like, nah, we're going to do exactly what Bill Belichick is doing. It's Cal McNair who's the issue. Mm-hmm. And then he's hired this Jack Easterby guy whose credentials are essentially that he's a chaplain. That's what he was for the Saints and then the Patriots. And that was for 3 years apiece. Mm-hmm. And then the Texans hired him as the executive vice president of operations. All right, you know what? Before I have an aneurysm, we're not going to keep this conversation going, all right?
Fair enough.
Okay, so Russell Wilson.
Oh, Lord.
Hasn't asked for a trade yet, per se, but you mentioned that he basically supplied a list of teams that he would play for.
So apparently him and his agent formed a list of teams that he would play for if he were to be traded, although he has a no-trade clause in his contract. It is the Dallas Cowboys, which is interesting because of, a young man named Dak Prescott.
Declan.
I think it's Dakota, though. The New Orleans Saints, which is interesting also because of also a young man named Drew Brees. The Raiders, which has Derek Carr, and then the Chicago Bears, which, they got Trubisky.
Yeah.
They got him. He's on the roster.
For now. The league year starts, he's going to be a free agent.
So it is funny that that Russell did name all of those teams.
The Bears are my second favorite team.
Really?
So, if he went to the Bears, I'd be like, all right, that's pretty dope. At least they're going to be nice.
Personally, I don't think he's getting traded. I feel like the Seahawks that would be the dumbest thing in sports history to trade Russell Wilson because he's going to win a couple Super Bowls in his career.
Well, you've heard that they've kind of gone back and forth on this. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the club, the actual franchise, has responded to some of these things and was very dismissive, and if this is really how he thinks, then maybe we can just get you out of here. Mm-hmm. So there might be kind of a door opening here with a trade. And if that's the case, I don't know how that would affect anything, but who do you think would yield more, Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson?
Oh. I feel like who will yield more is the second person to be traded. So I feel like whoever pays, so say Russell Wilson gets traded first, and I think if he does get traded, which I don't think he will, but if he does, he'll go to Dallas. Jerry Jones is 77, 78 years old, and he wants a Super Bowl now.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott is demanding $38 million a year.
Yeah.
And that eats up 20% of your cap. Mm-hmm. And no team has won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years with a quarterback winning that kind of much money in your cap space. The most was around $11 million.
Yeah.
So it's almost unheard of. It is unheard of. And Dak Prescott, I don't believe he's won any playoff games. Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl. If I was Jerry Jones, I would trade everything to get Russell Wilson. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have Ezekiel Elliott.
They should swap the quarterbacks.
Just swap quarterbacks.
couple picks.
Give picks. Give a couple first. It's Russell Wilson. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I would guarantee that.
Yeah. So I would also trade them Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah, he's in his contract year. He's been hurt a lot. A change of scenery would probably be nice for him.
They need linebackers as well.
Plus Jalen Smith is their number one guy in Dallas. So
right.
And KJ Wright's about to leave Seattle.
Right.
And apparently he's on the Titans' radar.
Interesting.
It is. I don't want him.
Isn't he like 33?
He's old.
Yeah. They have a tendency of being like, hey, Cameron Wake. you still alive?
Dude, Cameron Wake is a monster, man.
He is.
Dude, he would kill almost anyone, but he's just like, he's big and he's old. His first game was against the Browns, and he had 2 sacks. It was week 1. And the Titans won. It was like 43 to like 17. We just beat the hell out of the Browns, which is not unusual. This past year was kind of an anomaly, but we'll see. And then he had 2 sacks, and then that was it. I think he had 2 sacks all year, and then he was done. And then I don't think he's played in the NFL since.
Yeah, he.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
He will be missed.
He's God. He was like.
I mean, he's doing well.
He was almost 40.
Yeah, he's.
He was 38 when he signed that contract.
Yeah. It was like a 2 or 3 year deal. It's like, come on, guys.
I know, right?
We know what's going on here.
Well, I found out through doing like some of the stuff on the cap, like looking at over the cap numbers, that you save money by signing a player
for a long-term deal,
but you can structure it to where it's really a 1-year deal with the other 2 being options.
Yeah, and very back heavy.
Yeah, so you end up saving a lot of money when you cut them in a year, or trade them.
Yeah, the Titans just cut Adam Humphries, and they saved $4.4 million in cap, which is nice because the Titans had no cap. And apparently they might get J.J. Watt, Bud Dupree's also on their options. But
I mean, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to draft better, and they're going to have to address that issue in free agency.
I don't think they can draft any worse, though.
That's true.
Like, statistically, there's no chance it's worse.
What if, like, next year they just draft...
Unless they draft us, like... Unless they draft us, that's probably not going to be worse. I'm sure I could have given you the production Isaiah Wilson did this year.
That's true. 4 snaps. Oh, man.
I could have done 4 snaps for $11 million.
Hell yeah.
I would have gladly done it.
Folks, I am entering myself for the NFL draft. Tell everybody that you know. Tell what's his name that owns Home Depot.
Arthur Blank.
And the Falcons, yeah.
Yeah, Arthur Blank. Yeah, shout out Arthur Blank if you're listening.
Big shout out Arthur Blank. What's up?
You're a good dude, man. You guys blew one hell of a lead to Tom Brady, but who hasn't?
Yep.
Who hasn't?
Good Lord.
Man, he cost me money on that game. That was unfortunate.
That was a lot of... Everybody was like... they were already ready to call Pat Mahomes a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
I was ready to.
And the baby goat and all this other stuff. But there's a lot of things that are just hype, and I feel like they're just noise. And that was one of the things that I'd kind of deciphered as more noise than anything. He is a great player, don't get me wrong.
For sure.
And I think he has the potential to do a longevity thing like Tom Brady and potentially be as good, if not better. It's going to be a long, hard road, but fuck, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, he's got that ridiculous, $530 million 10-year deal.
Yeah, and he's like part owner of the Royals.
Yeah. He bought that.
Yeah, he was just like, you know what? I got extra money. Because what else am I going to spend it on?
Can you imagine just waking up and you're like, let me get some coffee, walk downstairs, go check your mail. My check from the Royals is here. Sweet. You think he has it mailed to him, or you think he would pick it up?
I feel like he's definitely more of a direct deposit guy. But it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't have a cell phone. He's like, what do I need it for? I got too much money for a cell phone.
I don't know.
Because I don't need to talk to you. Like, imagine being...
Is he single? Is he a single?
No, he actually just He just got a child. It was his child.
He picked one up.
He didn't.
It was like, look, guys, this is mine now.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? This little thing was rolling around the corner, so I'll pick him up. No, he impregnated a woman. It was his girlfriend of long time.
There you
and
go.
and they're fiancéed up, and they just experienced a child. So that's nice for him.
That is nice.
He's got a lot of money for a child.
Shout out to Cullen. He actually just got engaged not too long ago. I can't remember the exact date. It's probably bad on me, but we just had the engagement party last night.
That's amazing. Shout out.
Yeah, big shouts to Cullen.
Amazing. All the best wishes.
Thank you to Cullen.
For sure.
For Cullen.
I hope you listen to this soon. As soon as possible.
Yeah. Cullen.
Shut up. Not Edward, though.
We don't fuck with that fucking vampire guy there. We ain't about that. We ain't about that.
Yeah.
All right. So, the Wentz trade. And the whole... let's talk about... Is this even a good trade? Like, did the Colts get better at this spot with Wentz in the room?
I think I would have rather have had Carson Wentz than Phillip Rivers. I feel like the Colts had so much money in cap, and they never make splash moves, that it's just really a low risk, high reward. They gave up a second-round pick. If they make the playoffs, it's a first-round pick, which is not that bad, because if they make the playoffs, it's a late-round first pick anyway. So It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
So you might as well have Carson Wentz. Before the injury, he was playing at MVP level. However, since the injury, he's kind of has that Mariota syndrome where anytime you see a defender, you're kind of just going to fall down. Yeah, you're just going to just be scared.
Ray Nicholson it.
Yeah, and you just kind of crumble. And it's unfortunate because Mariota was a special player, and I always thought Carson Wentz was incredible, especially coming out of North Dakota State. He can play in very inclement weather, but now he's going to Indianapolis, where he plays in a dome, and he's also going to play in Houston at least once a year, and that's in a dome. So he's going to play under perfect weather conditions.
What's a retractable roof?
That's true, but even if it is retractable, it's still going to be nice weather. Like they wouldn't
open it just because it's raining.
Because it's raining. It's like, yeah,
we wouldn't let it in. Come on.
It's going to rain for 40 yards of this field.
Hope you don't mind.
We just want to throw an obstacle course. This is like Mario Kart Football Edition. But no, I do think that the Colts won this trade. The Eagles, they've kind of been a dysfunctional organization recently, and they're making all the wrong moves. I do think Jalen Hurts is pretty good, but we'll see how long that lasts.
I think the NFL is kind of starting to realize that they need to kind of move away a little bit from a mobile quarterback in a sense. Like you don't need a Michael Vick at all. You need somebody who's going to stand back in the pocket. So I think that we're going to see this kind of be a dying breed eventually, and we're kind of seeing the end of the generation that Michael Vick inspired, if that makes sense. So I think we're about to see a lot of the generation that Peyton inspired and Tom has inspired coming soon. And I think we're going to see them kind of be a lot more athletic, but you're going to see, I don't know, you're just basically going to see kids coming out of school that make Carson Wentz look retarded. Like, do you remember the hype surrounding like Big Ben and Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers in 2004?
Yeah.
And like, it's hard to remember this, but
JP Lipscomb, shout out. Bills.
He and the Steelers, like the Big Ben and the Steelers won like 26 of their first 27 games with him.
Yeah, I think he went 15-1 his first year as a full-time starter.
Yeah, but he didn't start that first game.
Yeah, Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, and then he started after that.
Mm-hmm.
They went 15-0, and then the next season they didn't lose until like week 9 or something. I don't math.
Yeah, math.
I don't know, but goddamn.
Not shout out math.
No. That's a shout out to fuckmath.com.
Now, who do you think won though? The Philadelphia Eagles or the who got a better deal out of that? I think the Colts did. I do. I think it's
I think the Eagles lost definitely because
they had to eat up a lot of that contract too. Like I think they're paying like $30 million the next couple of years for a guy that doesn't play for their team anymore.
Damn, I didn't know that.
I know they ate up I think 23% of the contract this year. I could be wrong because of math, but I know it's a lot, and it's too much. And it's like, goddamn.
They signed him to like a $100 million deal
Recently.
Yeah,
just like Deshaun.
Yeah, well, his was 156.
Yeah, in September, right? Or
yeah, and a no trade clause.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, are you kidding me, guy?
He just saw that money. I was like, I would have signed the same thing. I was like, all right, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah, and then he also still had the same head coach that had been there,
Yeah.
I think they pulled the plug on B.O.B. too soon, to be honest. And one of my theories about things how they would shake out there definitely was proven true with Deshaun having his best season and me having predicted that without D-Hop.
Mm-hmm.
But God, the Eagles are such a loser in this. Because I don't have any faith in Jalen Hurts. I think which is kind of why I had the whole rant there about, this generation of mobile quarterbacks. He is the tail end of that. I think we're about to start seeing all the Peyton Manning inspired kids showing up now, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how the draft shakes out, but I don't think the Eagles are going to be anything to worry about this season.
I don't see how. I have no faith that they can draft well either with the second round pick that they're going to get and third round pick that they're going to get.
Yeah,
it's not better than the production Carson Wentz would have given them.
Yeah, and you have to look at last season. You're like, oh, it's just statistically, it was his worst season, which is true. But he also played with the least amount of talent that he's done in his entire career.
Horrible team.
Everybody was hurt. Like, Brandon Brooks was hurt in the preseason. Or not in preseason, but like training camp or something. Mm-hmm. Tore his Achilles. And then Jason Peters tore his bicep. I mean, everything just literally fell apart.
Yeah.
And then I think their center is supposed to retire. The left guard's talking about retiring. I think that was Jason Peters, actually. Because he's 39.
Yes, there's little hope for Jalen. So Jalen's going to have to make this magic on his own.
Absolutely.
I think Carson's going to do much better just because he's going behind a great offensive line. The Colts.
Oh, my God.
Dude, the Colts have one of the best offensive line.
If Frank Wright can't work his magic on Carson Wentz,
he just has to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But the Titans are not going to sack him. Neither is the Texans. The Jags probably not. Yeah. So he's safe for at least 6 games.
It's true. Well, I mean, the Jags have at least Jonathan Allen or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
There we go. Who's Jonathan Allen? Is that a person?
I mean, there's a lot of humans named Jonathan Allen. There is a Jonathan Allen. I want to say he's a left guard somewhere.
That feels right.
I feel like for the Redskins.
The football team?
The football team, sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be racist on your podcast.
It's all right. Okay. I don't think we
Look. Here's my hot take. Besides the hot take of Brett Kern being Steve McNair reincarnated, it is that I'm not going to call the football team anything else until they have a real football name.
And that's fair. But
how have they not had a backup name? They were even talking about going into the next season as the Washington football team. It's like, how have you never had a backup plan? Like, in case we ever do get flagged for our name being racist.
I don't think that anybody named as their football team the Redskins in the 60s?
Yeah, something like that.
And then is like, yeah, I'm worried about people being like, that's racist.
Yeah, no, the 60s for sure. But I'm talking about, they've been going through this battle for a while. Like, a lot of people have said something like, hey, your football team is kind of racist.
They were never going to do anything until every single company started to pull out.
Yeah.
Like a sponsorship.
Yeah, I know FedEx, which is their football stadium's name. But I don't know. I feel like they should have. Like, I feel like that's just responsible. Like, I feel like if they would have known, like,
they'd
I would have
put out
had
a
a couple
poll.
backup ones.
They'd put out a poll.
Like Red Tails was one, which would be pretty cool for the Tuskegee pilots. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Red Wolves would be pretty cool. I think that would be pretty awesome because we don't have any wolves like
true.
for in the football. Like, the Timberwolves is an awesome mascot for Minnesota. Shout out Minnesota.
Shout out Timberwolves.
Shout out Shout out Timberwolves.
Have you ever seen a Timberwolf?
No, I've seen a Canadian Lynx before. That shit was wild, dude.
Yeah, because it's outside.
Yeah, dude, it was outside, dude. I was at an Airbnb, bro. So, and I was either in Nova Scotia or Prince Edward Island, bro. And I was just sitting there on the on a patio, just sitting there chilling, just smoking a cigar, Bel Cubano in fucking Canada. The irony of that, just all the way across the longitude, and there was a creature coming through the woods, like through the field. And I was like, oh shit, that's a Canadian lynx, and I sought shelter. It was terrifying, man.
How big is that thing?
It was big, dude. It was a giant ass jungle cat. So imagine Reginald, which is Curtis's dog. It's a big ass beetle, or not a beetle. It's a big ass beagle, a dog, not a insect. And he's probably, the Canadian Lynx was probably about four of him.
Okay.
It was furry. It was fluffy.
So
you'd want
like
to hug
a really big house cat?
Huge house cat.
So like, have you seen a Maine Coon?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so a Maine Coon is like a
sounds like a beautiful creature.
30, 40 pound cat.
Ooh.
And they're fuzzy as hell.
Would you hug it?
I mean, I'd hug it. Now,
I sound like I would hug it too.
Sound like it. Sound like it, but in practice, probably not. Look, oh, come here, buddy. Reggie, you're literally tripping. Damn. I saw a Timberwolf in college. I looked out into my parking lot, and like.
When you were in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Minnesota once again.
Shout out Minnesota.
Shout out Minnesota. Got a lot of good homies in Minnesota. Shout out. Sure you do too.
I mean, I don't really keep up with anybody up there. I guess a few people, but no, not a whole lot. Dakota, shout outs.
Shout out Emilio, Gage, Jesse. Shout out.
Oh man. God.
How did we get from?
I don't remember.
Dude, we got on one hell of a tangent. It was about the Washington football team.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I know Dwayne Haskins is a bust, man. I feel bad for them for drafting him. I was at the draft. Were you at the draft in Nashville?
No.
Dude, it was there. It was raining like crazy.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go.
It was bad.
Like, I'm gonna be shoulder to shoulder with everybody and wet. I'm out.
It was bad. It was really bad. They played a lot of music during that draft, and the crowd was not there for music. And Moon Taxi was performing a very long set, and a lot of people were booing them. And like, they're a good band. Like, no shout out, but they were good.
No shouts.
No shout out to them, but they were good. But the crowd was not there for music, and it just wasn't. Nobody was feeling it. They were just like, "Hey, you guys got all these athletes and Hall of Famers around. Talk football. Talk draft. We're here for the draft. We're not here."
What if you just got paid, like you're a band, and they're just like, "Yeah, we don't want you to play music. Just shut up and fucking talk about sports ball."
Yeah, talk sports ball.
Sports ball. Reginald, Reggie, bestill thy ass. Reggie's losing his mind right now. Oh, is that lightning?
I think so.
Is this supposed to rain right now? All right. So, yes, it is. It is raining, and it is some lightning. But we out here, and we're just still talking about what are the Urban Meyer Jacksonville Jaguars going to look like? What do you, Blake, like, when you think back about Urban Meyer teams in general, they're generally pretty good. But I feel like, he's stepped up in terms of pools. So, like, the talent here is going to be, I don't know. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, the talent is very different. He always, he jumped in at a time that was always very convenient for him. Like, for instance, whenever he went to Utah way back in the day, I think this was like 05-ish, 04, back when I was a little Nino. He went in there when they had a really good roster. The team was not winning very well. They fired him. He jumped in, won 10 games.
Yeah.
You know, he did very well. Went to Florida, won national championship or two. Did great. Went to Ohio State, did the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't see him going into Jacksonville and getting Lombardis that easy.
No.
I don't see him just walking over their defensive line, just destroying the Colts. I don't see them stopping Arthur Juan Brown and Derrick Henry. I do not see them stopping potentially Deshaun Watson, maybe. Will Fuller, doubtful. David Johnson, definitely not Duke Johnson. They just cut him today.
There you go.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Honestly, dude, he was the best Johnson. I preferred, like, whenever the Titans played them, I was like, I hope they give it to David. I hope it's not Duke, because Duke torched the Titans. I didn't watch the other Texans games, but he always beat us.
Yeah, but that was typically when.
But everybody beat the Titans defense, and I could have put up 60 yards on the Titans defense.
Yeah,
I just had to like do a little pump fake and just juke him a little bit. Like, oh man, you got me.
For those who can't see, which is all of you, we all just kind of juked and looked at each other.
Yeah, we was juking up in here. It's that juke jam. Shout out Chance the Rapper.
So, yeah, I agree. I don't think Urban Meyer's Jags are going to look any sort of different, really. At least not immediately. I think it's going to take time, and they might have a formidable team, but maybe nothing contention-esque. Maybe just a step away, because I don't feel like they're a step away at the moment.
They're definitely better than the 32nd team. I feel like they'll definitely jump a lot better than they were this past year. Although I do think Gardner Minshew is a stud, and I hope they trade him to a team where he could start potentially, because I do think he's a good quarterback.
Just playing with a balls team.
Yeah,
I bet he would end up with the Jets. That's what's going to happen.
That is not a bad idea, because Darnold's probably getting traded. Although, like, what would you think about if he went to Houston?
If Minshew went to Houston?
No, that will never happen, because they'll never trade in conference or in division. However, you guys could get Darnold, and you send Deshaun to the Jets, which I feel like he would live in New York City. Because why wouldn't you if you were worth $150 million?
Right. Well, he would only get like a certain amount of that. Like he wouldn't get the whole
contract that he signed with Houston.
Yeah.
He's still worth a lot more than we are.
And they would probably re-sign him anyway.
Yeah, for sure. It's usually a trade and then a re-sign.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in Darnold. I've definitely seen him beat the Cowboys. And
who hasn't, though?
And that was always nice to see. But, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't feel any sort of positive about that. It would definitely be quite the downgrade. And it would definitely lead us, I believe, to needing an upgrade eventually in the future anyway. So
I feel like if you guys trade or release Deshaun Watson, everything is going to be a downgrade. Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
That's true.
If not top 3. He is amazing.
Trade, how about this?
Let's go. Run it.
Trade Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson.
Ooh. I feel like that's an even trade. Straight up, just those two.
Maybe a pick, because you would have longevity with Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson.
so you'd send Deshaun Watson for Aaron Rodgers in like a second.
Yeah, maybe a second and a third, or something next year.
Yeah, I would take that trade.
Yeah.
Just because Deshaun Watson, it seems like he's not going to play, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, the one conversation he's had with Dave Cullen, basically...
He said no.
Yeah, I'm not coming back.
So the Texans have no leverage.
The Texans are going to play hardball. If he doesn't want to show up,
he's going to force him to do it.
Correct. If he doesn't want to show up, but he won't collect that money.
Exactly. But he has all that money.
Yeah.
He's not hungry.
That's true.
He's eating steak tonight.
That's facts. And he might pull a Carson Palmer and retire.
He could do that.
He could. And all that cap money would count against for the Texans. which is why Drew Brees restructured his contract to from like $22 million down to like the veteran minimum, so that when he retires, it's a smaller cap hit. Which is why I think he's going to retire as well.
It's a bold take.
It's not a bold take. I think he. There's something to be said about, you know, when he in the moment retired, losing to Brady, and then watching Brady lift the Lombardi, and Brady's older than him, and he's sitting there thinking, God, if I wasn't hurt, maybe I have another year in me. I get it, and he could. But I doubt it. You could see the cracks were forming. And he doesn't have the arm strength anymore. I think if he comes back, it'll be a Peyton Manning like that last year. They'll get to the Super Bowl somehow. But it'll be 100% because of the defense.
Yeah.
And
number one defense in the NFL.
Yeah. And
top 5 offensive line.
Drew Brees is over here just like, I got 20 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. 6 of them been pick sixes. We 11-5. Wait, no, there's going to be 17 games, so 11-6.
Does that start this year?
Yep.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to take a while to get used to.
It is. Oh, God. And then...
Because I still call, like, the Titan Stadium, Nissan Stadium, I still call it LP Field. And sometimes the Coliseum.
Adelphi is what I remember when it first opened.
Way back in the day, yeah. That was the OG.
Adelphi. I would like to get Mike Keith on here, too.
Dude, Mike Keith, we could just spam Mike Keith. Anyone listen to this?
Help us spam Mike Keith.
Spam Mike Keith. Just say, hey, Curtis Podcast Network sent me.
And they want you.
We want you in every way.
Yes.
Just come here.
Just send a GIF of someone erotically, like, gesturing at somebody. I don't know what it's going to look like, but just get it done.
Yeah, just get his attention. I feel like if he saw that, he's not going to forget it.
No.
Like, a lot of people are sending me these kind of oddities. Let's see what those people are about.
My take on Drew Brees was that he should go. I also think Big Ben should retire.
I think both should retire.
Yeah.
Big Ben is not the player he used to be. Plus, that team, let's be honest, it's kind of in rebuilding mode. They're just not what they were. Mike Tomlin is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. He's one of my favorite head coaches, and he's so great. But it's time to draft a quarterback early. They have a decent pick. They need to draft a quarterback. There's a lot of this quarterback is stacked. Get Trey Lewis or something, and then try to run it back with somebody else.
Yeah.
Big Ben costs so much. They have till March 17th to draft a quarterback, to re-sign him, and then we'll see what it goes from there.
Yep. So where do you think Watson goes if he's traded? Give me your top 2 landing spots that you could see him there.
I could see Watson. Going to Carolina. Just because he's out of the conference, so he's in the NFC, so you're never going to see him. You're going to see him once every 4 years, unless you're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Both teams have to go to the Super Bowl. So I can see him going there. Carolina has a good pick this year because they suck. Teddy Bridgewater, they're not married to the guy. Who wouldn't want Deshaun Watson?
Right.
I have seen a lot of rumors where they would send McCaffrey to Houston
with like 4 or 5 draft picks,
and that's stupid. That's not a good trade. Like, Deshaun Watson is, one of the best quarterbacks. You have to have a great quarterback to win a Super Bowl. It just no average quarterback. Some average quarterbacks can get there, i.e., Garoppolo, Grossman.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, but it's rare. It doesn't happen very often.
Very true.
So you needed Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's going to win a Super Bowl in life.
Oh, yeah.
Where?
Relatively.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't know where.
Yeah.
I do see him. I feel like he can go to Carolina. The Jets wouldn't surprise me. But again, he would be with a terrible team. But it is a terrible team with a good new head coach and tons of cap.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Deshaun was like, I'll go there if you let me have some say in who I can throw the ball to, who protects me. I want a good left tackle. I want a running back that can catch it and run the ball.
Right. They probably end up signing Duke Johnson.
Yeah, let's get Duke on the team.
So I'm gonna have to agree that it would that Carolina or maybe a Jets.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had to think maybe San Francisco.
Did you see that? I would have agreed San Francisco. That would be a really good trade. I wouldn't want to see it because I do think Garoppolo is a really good quarterback. I do not want to see a really good quarterback in Houston, regardless. However, they did just come out and say that they 100% expect Garoppolo to start Week 1, 2021.
Interesting.
They said that I think yesterday.
Yeah, but teams be saying stuff.
They do. They are always politically correct.
Oh yeah.
They are. But I don't know. I feel like he hasn't done enough to lose his job yet.
It's true.
Like Trubisky, he kind of has.
Yeah.
And he's probably gone. Wentz was probably gone, and he left. Watson, that's a different story. But honestly, I really do. I don't know. I can't tell. It's kind of a 50-50.
Yeah.
My gut says he's staying, but I feel like I'm wrong a lot. So I feel like he's going to be traded.
Yeah.
But I mean, Houston has like no picks, so like they're like, we would like a first round pick every now and then.
Right.
How about a second?
It's just, again, and I've mentioned this before, it's the curse of the jersey. I just got the Deshaun Watson red jersey over here.
Oh yeah, and it's beautiful.
And yeah, he's going to be leaving soon. Now I just want to buy a J.J. Watt jersey just to have one. But,
yeah, that's an all-time great. I mean, I feel like if you were to get an old one, it would be J.J. Watt. He was the best Texan. Him and Andre.
Yep. Definitely. Matt agree on that. I liked Arian Foster a lot.
Loved Arian Foster, and he was a Vol. I loved him. That was when I did watch college a lot, and it was like him and Eric Ainge.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of Justin James Watt, where's he going? Packers, Titans, Bills, Steelers, or the Browns? Now, because I'm a wrestling enthusiast, I can tell you that The Miz has been campaigning on behalf of the Browns to get Justin James Watt on the Browns team.
So word on the street is he was offered a $20 million a year, a 1 year $20 million. They didn't name the team. I think the Browns offered that. And I feel like if I were here for the money, I would have been like, yeah, sign me up. And I bet that's the Browns because they have the cap for that, whereas the Bears don't have that. The Titans damn sure don't have $20 million just to give to one player.
Yeah.
Neither do the Steelers because they're way over the cap. So that only means that the Browns could have done it, unless it was some random team.
Yeah.
That he had no business being there. I do think he could go to the Bears. I feel like that's a dark horse because his wife plays for Chicago. She is a professional soccer player.
True. I forgot about that.
So she's always in Chicago. So that makes a lot of sense.
He's a Wisconsin native.
It's very close to Wisconsin.
He also has expressed interest in playing for the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a tweet the other day because he tweeted something that's like, just ate, now it's nap time. And I was like, dope. By the way, you should go play with all your brothers in Pittsburgh.
See, Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. And if I were him, honestly, I probably would. Because if you have, like I said earlier, their head coach is the absolute best.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So they're always going to at least have a winning record.
Yeah.
J.J. Watt out of there with T.J., I feel like he would love it.
And Derek.
Yeah.
All three of them.
And
they would have Terrell Edmonds and Trey Edmonds.
Yeah.
Terrell and Trey. I don't know.
Which one of the brothers?
There's three of them.
Is there three of them?
So there's the Edmonds that plays
the
safety.
twins, yeah.
No, they're triplets.
Oh, is it triplets?
Yeah.
My goodness.
So
there's a lot of talent in that family.
extra fertile.
Dude, if all of them, like, there's a lot of siblings. I feel like the whole Steelers team, if JJ went there, that'd be a very inbred ass team. I feel like there'd be so many of them in there.
Like, how many bloodlines make up this team? Like 4? No, so it would the Edwards that plays middle linebacker for the Bills.
Yeah.
He's one. And the Steelers have the other two brothers.
Gotcha.
One's a safety, one's a running back.
Gotcha.
So just be a big old family collaboration here.
Yeah, I feel like he is going to go to the Steelers. I hope he goes to the Titans, but if they're talking about $20 million, then no.
I hadn't heard $20 million. I'd heard $14-15 million a year. That's what I had heard. And, I mean, I don't know how much gravity there is to that, but I would like to see him out of division, obviously.
I definitely want to see him. Well, unless he's with the Titans, then I definitely want to see him out of the division. I mean, I hope he's out of the conference. I hope they go to Seattle or something, as far away as he possibly can.
That would be somebody that they could absolutely use him.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with Seattle, man. What do you think about Russell Wilson? Do you think he's staying? Do you think he's going?
I mean, he's made enough of a stink to where I think the team is at least listening to offers now.
Apparently 10 teams have reached out.
Yeah. And Nick Caserio, the Texans GM, has been getting trade offers left in his voicemail for Deshaun Watson. So that's like, can you imagine just getting, hey, this is so-and-so from the New England Patriots. We're going to send you like the next 17 first-round draft picks.
Take it.
Go ahead and give us Deshaun, and we'll give you Hightower.
The Hightower's back. He opted out of the 2020 season. Apparently, there's like 4 Patriots that opted out of the 2020 season.
Yeah, Pat Chung.
Chung.
McCourty. One of the McCourtys, or did they play?
No, they both played.
Okay. Hightower, Pat Chung.
And it was like 2 people I didn't recognize. It was probably just some like practice squad guys or whatever.
I don't know.
I know a Titans practice squad player opted out, and apparently he was like pretty hyped up coming out of college, but he was undrafted for some reason.
Yeah.
But I saw his like stats. He was pretty good. He was just a JUCO guy, and he just like kind of just like rose up and did pretty well. By the way, I just looked it up, and yeah, you're right. J.J. Watt was not offered $20 million. It was $15 to $16 million is the highest offer.
Okay.
Which is still a lot of money. And if the Titans were like, yeah, you can have him for $16 million, nah.
Yeah.
Just because he's not playing 16 games, and you're not getting Defensive
Right.
Player of the Year, J.J. Watt.
Well, that's true. Well,
He's
okay.
still great,
All right, hold
though.
on. Let me stop you there. He actually, if you look at the difference between the seasons where he exploded and had 20 sacks and then last year, you will notice that the entire defense is schemed around the fact that he's getting double teamed.
For sure.
Whereas in the past, they had other players that could occasionally draw a double team. He was designed to get a double team so that you had, or a triple team on some occasions, one-on-one with Omenihu, Brandon Dunn, and Carlos Watkins.
Yeah.
Who are admittedly not amazing, but I like Omenihu. He's young. He's out of Texas.
Yeah, but you gotta do something. When you're 4-12, you just gotta. Any talent you see, you gotta just like, let's see if we can develop it even more.
I mean, true, but they just cut. So Duke Johnson and
Your offensive lineman.
Yeah, Senio Clement. I know I'm butchering his name, but
yeah,
he's gone, as well as a defensive. God, who was it? They cut 2 people on one day and then cut Duke Johnson.
Yeah, everyone's kind of going.
Eddie Vanderdoes? I think it's his name. Yeah.
Nick Martin, offensive lineman.
Nick Martin. And that's a good one. That freed up like $7 million right there.
Yeah, I heard he's pretty good, though. Was he a starter for you guys?
He started 64 games.
Oh, so he's there for a while.
Yeah,
wow.
62 games or something like that.
Man, bring him to Tennessee, man. We need some linemen.
Yeah, like you did with Ben Jones.
Yeah, dude. Ben Jones has been a staple for the Titans offensive lineman for 5-6 years.
I know.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. I love Ben Jones. Nate Davis, who's our right guard.
Yeah.
He's a second-year player. His second year was great. I wouldn't say great. Very above average. His rookie year, garbage. No, you would have been a better right guard than him, probably.
I don't know. Anybody who's seen me play semi-pro football knows that is not true.
Did you? How many games of Nate Davis playing time did you watch? It was pretty bad, man. No, but he did improve a lot, and Keith Carter, the Titans' offensive lineman, did play pretty big help in that because he did coach him up a lot. And Nate Davis is very solid on the Titans' right side, next to Dennis Kelly and Ben Jones.
Yeah.
And then Lawan's coming back. And then we have Roger Saffold. So the Titans' offensive line is pretty solid coming up, which is great for a young man named Derrick Henry.
Yes.
Continue his reign of terror.
His kingdom shall expand.
Hope he goes a 3-time rushing champion. Like, I think that's not happened before.
I don't think twice in a row has happened.
Twice has happened. LaDainian Tomlinson did it last, and that was 06-07.
Okay.
Before that, I'm not entirely sure. I do know that LT was last, which LT is my favorite football player probably of all time.
I know several Chargers fans that may or may not listen to this podcast that thoroughly enjoy the fact that you just continue to name drop LT.
Dude, I love LT. I will bring up LT probably anytime you ever have me on a sports podcast.
Even if you're about to leave. By the way, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, it's like, I know we were exclusively talking about the Miami Dolphins, but LT, man, he's one hell of a running back.
You're like John Madden with Brett Favre.
Yeah, this is a Brett Starr episode, but let's have a quick segment real fast on how great LT was. Even with the Jets, he was okay.
All right, so Adam Humphries, he's been cut by the Titans. You think he's going to go where?
I think he's going to go to the Patriots just for the fact that the Patriots, especially Bill Belichick's, he loves like these little slot wide receivers that are white and undersized and loves throwing the ball to them. Just run a quick little slant route, give them the ball, let them run. And they tried going after him a couple years ago when he decided to go to the Titans. The Patriots actually offered more money. However, Adam Humphries chose the Tennessee Titans over the Patriots. Shout out Adam Humphries for that. He did pretty well for the Titans whenever he did play. However, he played only 19 of his 32 games. He's hurt a lot. He had a really bad concussion against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati.
That thing was brutal.
Dude, it was so brutal. Yeah, he was knocked out for 5 to 10 minutes, man. It was really bad. I honestly thought he couldn't walk. Like, it kind of looked like the young man from Steelers, Ryan Shazier.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when Ryan Shazier got hit, it was just, like, lifeless. And it was like, oh, man, this might be career-ending. And that's how I felt with Adam Humphries. And luckily it was not career-ending. He did come back a lot later in the season, but it was just not enough, and he just didn't do enough to earn the contract. So they cut him and saved $4.47 million, which is great for a very cash-strapped Titans team.
Yeah.
Going to an offseason where we had to re-sign some key free agents and branch out and beef up our defense.
It's true, and especially in a year where the salary cap has decreased to at a floor of like $180 million.
For sure.
So, how about your old boy Mariota? Where's that guy going? Because if I'm not mistaken, last year didn't he sign a 2-year deal with the Raiders?
So he signed a 2-year deal with the Raiders. You're correct. It was a huge deal. Last year he was the highest paid backup. Backing up Derek Carr. He saw action and did pretty well. He ran for like 100 yards, passed it for like 190, I believe. Had a couple touchdowns and a pick. And did well, enough to garner the attention of a lot of teams. And he did draw trade interest. However, as of recently, it has dried up a lot. He's owed, I believe, $11 million, which is up to like $20 million with incentives if he does become a starter. With them or with another team if they do trade. So it's looking like the Raiders are probably going to cut him. I would, just because Derek Carr's good. He's going to be the starter. He doesn't get hurt often. If he does get hurt, then you may just have to gamble. It's not really worth carrying Mariota's salary, especially when you're trying to win some games right now.
Right. And I'd have to agree. After watching him for years in Tennessee, obviously, I Yeah, I saw him play. There was that long period of time where he didn't have like a red zone interception.
Yeah, I think he had definitely over 50 red zone touchdowns with no interceptions. Then he threw like 3 after that.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He definitely got hurt. Whenever that one really bad injury he had, he kind of was very gun shy. And then after that, he was just afraid to throw it deep. And then he always second guessed himself, and he'd get sacked. And then he would just throw the football.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go to the Patriots. I think Belichick.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think Belichick wants a quarterback who's going to shut up and listen. Tom Brady, shut up and listen. Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback of all time, but he was still shut up and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Mariota was coached by a lot of garbage, and he still would shut up and listen.
Coached by a lot of different people as well.
A lot of different people, a lot of different offensive coordinators. Mariota's a very smart guy. He's very disciplined, and he's a very great guy, very coachable. He's just very gun shy, and he's very injury prone, which he was not in college. I think he's going to go to New England, possibly revive his career. I think he's going to do a whole lot better than Cam Newton did, because I think Cam Newton was just, he cared more about his fashion, and he cared more about just, I don't know, he's just not doing well. And
yeah,
Cam
just likes being Cam.
Cam likes being Cam. He's his own personality, and he does talk a lot of good stuff about Bill Belichick. And Cam Newton's a good quarterback, but it didn't work in New England. I feel like he may need to be a backup, but I feel like he definitely deserves a job in the NFL.
Okay. Who is your odds-on favorite for the 2021 AFC South champion?
I hate to say it, but it's the Indianapolis Colts.
And what makes you say that?
I think they have a better quarterback. They have a better offensive line. They have an ungodly amount of cap. They're even after the whole Carson Wentz trade, I think they're around $43 million in cap over. So they're good. They can spend anything they want to beef up that defense. They need cornerbacks. They need wide receivers, and they can get both, and get some good draft picks.
It's true.
Their defense is good. They have Darius Leonard, who's one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
Yep.
Quentin Nelson is the best offensive lineman in the NFL.
And there's talk that they're going to move him out to left tackle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think he would thrive there. I think you could put him at right tackle or center. He would be the best.
Yeah. Well, they're saying because Costanzo's retiring.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a huge blow. However, they can still, with all the cap space they have, I think they can definitely shore up that left tackle's position. They also can draft anything they want. I wonder if they could trade for Isaiah Wilson, hopefully. Give us a 5th rounder.
Give me something.
Give us something, please.
Please take Panda.
I know. Please take Panda. My goodness. I do think they are going to be the best. Michael Pittman's great. He wouldn't give Carson Wentz the jersey, but you know what? I wouldn't either, man.
Right?
Yeah, just my jersey. Michael
It's
Pittman was a baller.
Your team won a Super Bowl. You didn't.
You didn't. You were on the bench, man.
So how do you think the Colts are going to look without T.Y. Hilton? Because that's a
he is an upcoming free agent, isn't he?
Yeah. And apparently the Colts are not negotiating with him.
That makes sense. I feel like T.Y. is going to go somewhere else and thrive. I've always hated T.Y. Hilton because he's so good.
So fast.
He's so fast. He's small. He doesn't look like he would be an incredible football player, but he is.
Yeah.
He's physical. He's fast. He's a great route runner. There's nothing he can't do. So he's going to thrive in any offensive system he's in. He can run, block, anything. Whoever gets him is going to get a great wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's going to go. I feel like he would be, if Russell Wilson stays in Seattle, which I do think he will, I could see him going to Seattle.
Yeah.
Him and Tyler Lockett, that is a dangerous, and DK, like that's a dangerous wide
a lot of speed
group.
right there. So it looks like if you had to project your top 5 draft picks, not just for next year, who are you predicting? Wait.
What's the draft? What's the draft order real fast?
Well, no, for next year, not this year.
Oh, so saying the 5 worst teams for next year. Okay.
It's not a chicken, that's Reginald. Reggie, get a job.
Reggie, go get a job. I'm going to say, which I'm sorry, it's very disrespectful. I'm in your house. I'm going to say Houston is probably going to be first. Only if Deshaun Watson's traded.
Yeah, or doesn't play, period.
Because Deshaun Watson, he's good for 4 games on his own. This might be surprising, Miami. I don't believe in Tua at all.
I don't either.
I don't believe in Tua. Fitzpatrick might not be back. I don't know if he's a free agent or not, but like at some point he's got to slow down. I'm pretty much a believer in Fitzpatrick. I think he's a good quarterback. But I mean, this dude's like 38 years old at this point. Like, who knows? Like, you never know when he might break a hip.
Right. Just shattered. Now he's crippled.
The Bears could be pretty bad, which would be 3.
Oh God, the Bears could implode here.
Yeah, the Bears could be real bad. I feel like the Raiders might suck.
I think the Washington football team, the Eagles.
See, dude, Eagles. Yeah, Eagles. See, that's how Jalen Hurts could be really good. He could be like a Lamar Jackson, where he just takes over the offense.
Could be, but let's put it this way.
I mean, it's either a huge win or big loss.
From year 1 to year 2, people typically figure out how to deal with quarterback.
Correct.
Now, typically that doesn't apply. So, like, he only played the last however many games, like, as far as the starting queue.
Correct.
And then the only comparable would be, like, when Pat Mahomes took over, like, week, 16 or something?
17. He played the last game of his rookie year, which was,
doesn't give anybody enough to go off of.
Yeah.
But 4 games or whatever, 3 games, whatever it was that he started, Jalen Hurts. I think that gives people a little bit more of a sample size about what you could expect.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by about week 4 or 5, you're going to be seeing people are going to be like, we need to trade Jalen Hurts. Or we wish we had wins.
Yeah.
So I have no faith in them. So I could see them being a top 5 draft pick, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see...
And the Jets.
I don't...
The Jets are just perennially there.
See, my buddy Joey. Yeah, Joey Bruno. Shout out Joey Bruno.
Big shout, Joey Bruno.
Big shout out Joey Bruno.
Class of 12.
Joseph. Love you, homie. I don't know, man. I've always hated... I didn't hate. That's a strong word. Darnold. I don't believe in him. I don't like USC quarterbacks. I never have. I think Carson Palmer is the exception. They all suck. They really do.
After Palmer, you had Leinart, who was a bust.
Yeah, then you had John David Booty. Remember him?
Oh, God. I forgot all about him.
Yeah, you remember that boy?
And then
he's probably selling insurance or something right now.
Clausen? Jimmy Clausen?
No, he was Notre Dame. He was Notre Dame, then went to Carolina.
Hold up.
100%.
You're right. But who?
Sanchez. They had Sanchez.
Who was the kid right after Sanchez? Was that John David Booty? Or was that...
I think he might have been for Sanchez. I think John David Booty was right after Leinart.
Okay. That makes sense.
But they did have a bunch of garbage ones. Like, literally none of them. Like, another thing, man. One thing is name, like, some SEC quarterbacks that are good in the NFL. Like, there's not any. It's always, like, random quarterbacks from random teams.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's very true. I mean, Joe Burrow had a pretty solid season last year.
Well, that's 1 year. Let's give him some time.
Solid season.
But he was hurt.
And he was hurt.
We'll see. Like Drew Brees, Purdue, Tom Brady, Michigan. Tannehill, Texas A&M. Deshaun
Aaron
Watson,
Rodgers.
Clemson. Rodgers, Cal.
Yeah.
Like, who's SEC?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, Mississippi State. That was like the first year they were SEC.
They've been SEC for a while.
A little bit. But he's been around for a little while. He's drafted, 14, 15, maybe 16. I think it was 16.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was drafted the same year Deshaun was.
Oh, wow. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
so I guess that would be 17 then.
That was a great class by Dallas. Ezekiel and Prescott.
Yeah, because they got him in the 3rd round.
4th.
Oh, yeah.
They cleaned up.
Yeah, that's why his number's 4. That's right.
Is that really why it is?
Yeah.
That's so baller. That's so baller.
You know who Case Keenum is?
Yeah, dude, love Case Keenum. Yeah, Houston, like one of the best collegiate quarterbacks of all time,
Right.
technically.
That's where I got my son's name is from Case Keenum.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I was watching when we found out that we were pregnant. We were figuring out names, and we were watching. I think at the time he was playing with the Vikings.
And he balled out the Vikings.
Yeah.
Minnesota Miracle.
Yeah, Minneapolis Miracle.
Minneapolis, thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So that happened, and I was like, yeah, all right. And I don't even like the Vikings. I was just like, I like this kid because he has gone everywhere. He went from the highest highs you can possibly go as the University of Houston Cougar, and setting collegiate records for a bunch of different stuff that still stand to this day. And then going undrafted, getting picked up by the Texans, and then playing 2 games, getting picked up by the Rams, stayed on their practice squad, go back to Houston, start 14 games, get cut, go back to the Rams, start. He was splitting time with Jared Goff when he got there.
Yep.
And
that was his rookie year, I believe.
Yeah. And then I think Keenum was even playing well, and they pulled him out.
Yeah, just because they invested the first round pick in Goff, so you have to, I guess.
Right. So the guy just was
he's a journeyman, man.
Yeah, he's a journeyman, but he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time very often.
It's very similar to Fitzpatrick
and Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is a baller.
He is, but he always goes somewhere where they're like, we're about to draft quarterback.
Yeah, first round.
Yeah.
Like second overall. It's like ridiculous. It's like, dude, Tyrod needs to go somewhere like Tennessee. Dude, I would love Tennessee.
Oh, hell yeah. He'd be a phenomenal backup.
Dude, honestly, he could start in Houston right now, assuming these guys trade, Deshaun. But even then, man, because you guys wouldn't, I don't know what your pick would garner.
Yeah.
I did see that San Francisco trading for Garoppolo going to Houston, and then because they have the 9th overall pick, and then give you guys the 9th overall pick, the 2022 pick, first rounder, and a second rounder this year. So it'll be 2 first round picks and a second round and Jimmy G. Would you take that for Deshaun?
I would probably ask for 3
first rounders,
or
you getting greedy, or another second,
2 first round or 2 second rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So two twos and 2 1s, and then Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like,
just because how cheap the rookie contracts are,
right.
Yeah.
Now I would either do that, or I would do the same amount of draft picks and Deshaun Watson for or those picks for Deshaun Watson and what's his name?
What team?
The 49ers.
Jimmy G?
No. If they did a different...
What position?
He plays defense.
Bosa?
Armstead.
Oh, Eric Armstead? Yeah, dude, he's a baller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trade
okay.
and get Eric Armstead and those...
Yeah, to beef up that defensive line. Yeah, that would be that'd be a solid trade. Because if you need a staple on your defensive line, that's pretty much the quarterback of defense, man. You got to have someone to get to the quarterback.
Right. And you don't really need a top 10 draft pick to get a good quarterback.
That's true.
Russell Wilson was drafted in the 3rd round. Deshaun Watson was drafted, I think, pick 13.
Yeah, so, Drew Brees, 2nd round. Tom Brady, of course, 6th.
Famously.
Yeah. A lot of them were not. What name was the last quarterback that was picked 1st overall that won a Super Bowl? Stafford hasn't. Kyler hasn't. Cam hasn't. Bradford didn't.
Peyton. Oh, he was 2nd.
That was Peyton was 2nd. Andrew Luck didn't. Baker didn't. Who's the first pick this year?
Sweat.
Who?
What's his name? Sweat.
Burrow.
Was Burrow the first
Burrow
pick?
was the first pick, yeah. You're thinking of Swift, DeAndre Swift?
No, the defensive end, Swift.
Oh,
Sweet.
Sweat. No, you're thinking of Sweat. No, Chase Young was the second pick for the Washington football team.
Yeah, but they play on the same team now.
Yeah. Funny how the mind works sometimes.
And they're both fast as shit.
Yeah. God, what's his name?
Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat, thank you. Yeah, Missouri guy.
That was way off. Way off.
Yeah, he was definitely not the first overall
Not
pick.
at all. But,
Good player, though. Better than Isaiah Wilson.
On that note about the SEC players, it seems like everybody that the SEC could potentially put out goes to the Washington football team for whatever reason to play defense.
Yeah. They have a good defense, though. They just have no offense. Like,
Facts.
What's the name? Their quarterback they just drafted. God, what's the name? Ohio State.
Dwayne Haskins.
Trash.
Dude,
horrible.
okay.
Now he's backing up Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh.
I think
Third string.
every single Ohio State quarterback is overrated.
Yeah, that's why I hope the Jacksonville Jaguars fans, if you hear this, I hope you guys draft Justin Fields because he's going to be terrible.
He's also a Georgia product, though, too.
He did, yeah, he was. I don't care. Even SEC, still SEC quarterbacks like Jake Fromm, who they're like, oh, he's probably going to go maybe late first, early second.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. He dropped like the 6th round to the Bills. Like, nobody wants an SEC quarterback.
Yeah.
He went to the Bills. Josh Allen is the clear starter over there.
Right.
And then they have Barkley from. Oh, that's another USC guy. Barkley.
Yeah, Matt Barkley.
Second
That's
rounder.
who I was thinking of. The
Barkley.
blonde
There you
idiot.
go. The
Yeah.
blonde guy. SoCal boy.
God. And then, there's just been so many terrible picks coming out. All right, so what is it? You got some tweets from Deshaun and.
I know Deshaun Watson. He retweeted something. I have to find that up. But DeAndre Hopkins was talking about. He tweeted the NFL Twitter posted a post about how like his stats, just like how big of a baller he was. It was like he was top 5 in like everything. And then he retweeted it saying that he was the only worth a 2nd round pick because last year they traded a 2nd round pick and for that.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, I know. I was like, maybe David Johnson will justify it by playing really well this year.
No, he didn't. Is he your starter going into
I think they're going to trade or cut him. Because it'll save roughly about...
Who's your starter then? If going like right now, assuming they don't draft anybody.
It would be Higdon or Scotty Phillips.
Which one do you feel more comfortable about?
Scotty Phillips.
Why is that? How did he do last year?
He ran the ball 4 times for 20 yards.
I mean, I could have done that.
Behind that shitty offensive line?
Oh, yeah, probably not.
Okay. Let me put it this way. This kid played at Ole Miss. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If they indeed cut David Johnson or trade him, cutting is more likely.
Yeah.
He would be the de facto, like, dark horse to win the running back job.
Okay.
Because they already have the other guy, Higdon or whatever. He ran for like 50 yards against the Bears.
For sure.
On like 8 carries. And so that was just like, all right, we didn't see that coming. But he's like 28. So I imagine that Scotty Phillips, who's going to be 23 coming into next season,
mm-hmm.
could very well find himself squarely in a position to do something about it.
Gotcha.
But I also imagine they're going to try to pick up somebody or re-sign somebody.
Yeah.
I also think they're not done making moves as far as cutting people.
I also feel like the fact that since you guys don't have like a 1st or 2nd round pick, is that correct?
Correct.
That the draft market is going to be a little difficult to navigate.
Yes.
It's like you guys are going to have to be like, all right, who can we sign for cheap? Or what do we do if we do trade Deshaun Watson? Because if you guys trade Deshaun Watson, obviously you guys are going to have at least a couple 1st or 2nds.
Yeah, at least.
At least. Like, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So if you're trading him, which is unfortunate, which is great for me,
Not so much.
No,
it's all right. I just have to wait until Cal McNair dies, and then the hope
just
will
a
be
new
restored.
regime, just like some, hopefully, because that's how it was with the Titans, man. Whenever Bud Adams, I was like, man... All right, let me choose my words carefully real fast.
Was it Amy Adams?
It's Amy Adams now, but whenever Bud Adams was in charge, I was like, man, hopefully something happens where he is not in power anymore.
Yeah.
And he'll go to somebody else.
Because they're just perpetual.
Because he was horrible. He was terrible. So I'm glad Amy Adams took over, and Amy Adams is an incredible owner because ever since she's been around, the Titans have been made the playoffs most of the time. However, we were 9-7 almost every time.
That's true.
But whatever. We're 11-5 this year. Shout out.
Shout out to numbers.
Shout out numbers, man. Even though we said not shout out numbers earlier today.
We said not shout out math.
Math, yeah. Math and
just numbers though.
Numbers okay. There's a lot of people that are number deniers, man. I was talking to somebody about that the other day. A lot of people they just don't believe in numbers. Like, no, that's hieroglyphics. I don't believe in that. No math, not today.
Oh God. Right. All right. So let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the other two teams in the AFC South, the Jags and the Colts. How do the Jacksonville Jaguars find themselves in the Super Bowl, or at least find themselves in better standings? Blake?
Okay, so the Jaguars have a ton of cap space. So they need to shore up some of their key free agents, which they have DJ Hayden, who they need to re-sign. Tyler Eifert, you could bring him back if the deal is good. If he's around $3 or $4 million, I would definitely bring him back for a year or two. Keelan Cole and Chris Conley, I would definitely bring him back. You have to re-sign Cam Robinson, your left tackle. You got to show up that left side, your blind side. He's probably reasonably cheap. You got to bring him back. O'Shaughnessy was pretty good whenever he did see action. And then you could get D.D. Westbrook back. You're going to have a new quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. That's who I would draft with first. He's the best quarterback coming out of the draft, best player, run with him. And then draft skill players, help him out, get a couple wide receivers. The defense is pretty good. We'll see what Urban Meyer can do to coach up that team, see how his assistants work. And
he's done well to surround himself with, coaches that were head coaches somewhere else.
That's true.
So hopefully that bodes well for him. Well, I guess hopefully not, but at the same time, I don't really want this to just be like I want a good threat in the AFC South and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jags have a strong potential. They have a lot of good players. They just drafted C.J. Henderson, the corner, who was incredible.
Florida, yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, I wanted him so bad. He's so good. They do have Andrew Norwell, who's incredible. They have Jawan Taylor on the offensive line. I don't know what's going to happen with Gardner Minshew. If I were the Jags, I would love to have him as a backup, just in case Trevor Lawrence tends to get hurt, or if something ever happens or he goes down. It'd be nice to have Gardner there, because I think Gardner could start in a lot of places.
Yeah.
He's just a winner. I feel like he's a playmaker, and you want that guy. You want that energy. You want that leadership. They also have James Robinson, who's an undrafted free agent last year. And, dude, James Robinson, he was the best rookie last year.
Yes.
I have to. I know it's a quarterback award, so Justin Herbert won Rookie of the Year. Justin Jefferson was very well deserving of it.
Absolutely.
Dude, that guy is incredible.
Yeah.
Playmaker. However, James Robinson, man, he had the worst team, man. He had a garbage team, and he did everything he could, and he was amazing. James Robinson's scary.
Yeah. The Jags, once they get that quarterback position fixed, they're going to be a team that is going to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And they obviously have a couple other positions to really shore up, but they have the cap space to do it, and the draft capital to get it done. So we'll see how it goes for them in 2021.
Yeah, they definitely need to get bigger on the defensive side. Their inside linebacker, Ari Jones and Tavon Bryan, they're just not that big, not that aggressive or strong. Goats, this isn't the best either. So
yeah. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, they're just a mess. That's why they're picking first.
That's why their colors are teal.
That's why their colors are teal, dude. Nobody wanted them.
Exactly.
Like, they're as close as yellow as you can get.
Oh, man. And as for the Colts, we're looking over here at Jacoby Brissett's a free agent. Phillip Rivers is obviously retiring.
Rest in peace.
T.Y. Hilton is going to be finding a new place to catch passes. Justin Houston, Danico Autry, Malik Hooker, Xavier Rhodes, LaRaven Clark, Trey Burton, Mo Alley Cox, Zach Pasquale, Al-Qaeden Mohammed. Pretty sure I'm going to get flagged now. And Marlon Mack.
I hope Marlon Mack goes far, far away from the AFC South, unless he's a Titan.
Look, why would he be a Titan?
I don't know.
Already have Derrick Henry.
No, he can be a backup. I don't trust Darrington Evans or McNichols very much.
I
like both of them, but we'll see how they turn out.
I think that the Texans could get him on a cheap deal, depending on his physical. Because he did tear his Achilles.
Yeah, something like that.
So I mean, he's basically been out of commission this entire time. That's like a 44-week ordeal.
That's true.
It takes for a long time. So, hope you're doing better out there, Marlon Mack. The Texans probably need you.
Yeah, dude's a baller.
But the Colts are absolutely flush with cap space, with $43 million of cap space.
But I don't think they're going to use it. They always have a lot of cap because they don't make any splash move, which is crazy. That they traded for Carson Wentz because they don't do things like that.
Yeah.
Like ever. Like they traded for DeForest Buckner last year. And that's just out of character for them. It worked out for them that time. And they're like, all right, let's try Carson Wentz this time. I don't think the ROI is going to be as good with Carson Wentz than it was with Buckner because Buckner just took over the game last year. Like whenever he didn't play, it was noticeable.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, I know you alluded to, or you said that earlier, that Brissett is a free agent. And they're probably not going to get him back, but a backup like Brissett could definitely be very adequate for a backup. Like if they had to step in for Carson Wentz,
yeah,
the talent drop off would not be that much.
Right. I mean, and to get them to the Super Bowl, really, you just need better quarterback play because Phillip Rivers,
he's old.
He's old, and he didn't quite have what he used to on the ball. And, he did what, you're supposed to do when you start seeing the signs, you leave. And he may have left a year later than he probably should have. But, I mean, I don't think the Colts are any worse for wear, honestly. I think they're basically in the same position they were last season. Because let's just say that hypothetically that this is the situation that Frank Reich is just going to fix Carson Wentz. Let's say it happens, okay? He's going to put up a roughly about the same numbers as he did when he was with the Eagles. Not on his, not last season numbers.
Yeah.
There's not a huge discrepancy between the comparisons with Frank Reich and without. I don't feel like that it will happen, but I feel like it could. And I feel like this is a much better starting off point than it. I mean, the Eagles' offensive line wasn't bad. It was just hurt this last year. But they have a lot of talent, and they have a winning atmosphere. And I think that might do some amazing things for Carson Wentz.
I completely agree. There's really nothing I disagree about. I think that Carson Wentz is going to do a lot better in Indianapolis than he did in Philadelphia, just because he's surrounded by better people. It's a better organization, a lot more talent around him that he can facilitate the ball to. Apparently, there have been a lot of rumors throughout his entire career. He's not the easiest person to get along with. He's not the greatest guy. But neither was Ben Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers. They've each won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Carson hasn't won. Well, he has won one, but not
right.
him winning it specifically.
Yeah.
He's just on the roster.
Tore his ACL.
Yeah, he tore that ACL. But it was on MVP season. I still think if it was him or Foles, they still would have won Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, I believe so as well. For whatever reason, Tom Brady just can't beat the NFC East.
Well, in 2004, Tom Brady did beat Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens played on that broken-ass leg in 2004 and still had like 100 yards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Brady won. I don't know.
That's tragic.
I did learn, though, as alluded to earlier in this podcast, man, never bet against Tom Brady because you'll lose.
Every single time. That's just what Tom does. He just makes you lose.
Yeah, the more people that bet against him, the harder he plays, so just don't.
So, yeah, in Sudbury with the Colts, I really feel like they're going to have to make some sort of splash move to really make an adjustment to make it over the hump, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a couple plays break differently in that Buffalo playoff game, and the Colts win that game. That was a close game.
It was a close game.
So we could be looking at a very different thing here altogether. And it's just kind of funny the way that things work out. But, I think that unless they make a big splash in free agency or another big trade somehow, some way,
mm-hmm.
or they draft somebody that's just like a bona fide killer.
I'm terrified that one of my biggest fears is that the Colts signed Jonnu Smith, the Titans tight end, free agent.
Yeah.
Titans can't afford Jonnu. Jonnu's never eclipsed 500 yards his entire career. However, if he played on a team that threw the ball a lot more, he would have 1,000.
Yeah.
The Colts love tight ends, and I feel like he's probably going to go there, if not Seattle, which he's been linked there a lot. Same with Atlanta, because Arthur Smith is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
He was the tight ends coach and the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans.
And logically, that would be a good fit.
It would be a good fit. He would thrive there. Pro Bowls.
For days.
For days. For years.
Potentially.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I think that's about gonna do it for this episode of the Sports Show.
Yes, sir.
Blake, thanks for coming on, man.
Man, I'm glad. I'm honored to be here. It was a lot of fun.
I had a blast. This was a lot of fun, man.
It's been a long time. It's been a good fun.
Hell yeah.
A lot of fun. Muy divertido, ese.
Oh, I don't speak French.
That was actually Arabic, but good try.
I'm sorry. I don't know my numbers. All right. Well, a big shout out and a thank you for Blake Bellamy coming on and enjoying this sports show with me. It was an absolute blast to have him on, and I hope I can get him on for further podcasts. He will be having his own podcast coming out soon, 615 Apartment, or Apartment 615 rather. And I'll put out further details when I have them. Big shout out now to Arcade Dreamer for the instrumental version of Dangerous from his debut album Born in the Midnight, available anywhere music can be listened to, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, etc. Follow him on Facebook and Instagram at Arcade Dreamer Official, Twitter at Arcade_Dreamer, and YouTube and Bandcamp at Arcade Dreamer. Curtis Podcast Network can be followed on Facebook at Curtis Podcast Network and Twitter at Curtis Network. Be good people.